Good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to congratulate with my team because today we did, I think, a really good job because we played against a strong team. It's the third time that we play against Madison, but I think that this time is the best team, the best match that we played against us. And we start a little bit slowly, okay, but after we start to defense. And from the defense after we start to lead one really good match. 3 different sets. The first set we are back and after we go strong in front. After the second set we play point and we won. The first set I think my players were really good to maintain one big advantage. It's not easy. It's not easy in this situation. And also it's important that we close 3-0. Because tomorrow there will be another really big challenge against Omaha. So I think that it's important also this to finish in 3 sets and not one long match.
Jordan, would you talk about the job she did set coming in that situation?
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I don't know when it's obviously tough when anybody gets hurt, but I think for me, like I had no doubt in my mind, like Kaisa is always so solid, like in practice, anytime we do the dub sub, anytime she comes in, whenever, like she's just such a consistent player. And I think it's really easy to hit off of her and just tracking the ball out of her hands. And she is so consistent. And I think her defense is really amazing too. And so I was not nervous at all. I think, just like it's exciting to be able to play with all of your teammates. Obviously, you don't want anyone to be hurt, but just really proud of her for coming in and just like not skipping a beat. I felt like we were pretty seamless in the transition, not having Micah.
Kaisa, were you nervous?
I was so nervous. But yeah, I feel like I had the help on the team all the time. Everyone knew the situation, so it was like they helped me, and I had the help on the bench. So when the game kept going on, I got more relaxed. Yeah.
Something that really stood out tonight was the blocking. I think as a team finished with 10 blocks, can you talk about what led to that success at the net? For anybody who
No, I think that the girls were really ordered in block over at Olin Aigbor. I think it's important because, in my opinion, also they played really good some balls. They played really good some balls against our hands. They changed the rhythm of the attack in the first set and half. After we start to take the rhythm of the block, maybe we didn't a lot of roof block, heel block, but we touched the ball after we defense. I think that we changed our timing in block. And this is what's really important. Overall, against the outside hitter in 4, I think that they create a lot of problems because they are good. Sometimes also we have to understand that it's not our mistake, but also the other players play good. And in this situation, they were playing really good. But after we started to be happy not to make block, but to touch, to defense, and at the end. We did a really good job in all the situation in the court. Starting, I think, more than on the block, starting from the defense. I insist about this.
A new factor tonight was that new rule of the super point. Madison fairly aggressive in that. Can you talk about what you saw, the impact that had on the match, and then your just overall thoughts on it?
About super point, I don't think is big impacting. Okay, I call one, I lose one, I lost one. It's interesting. It's interesting for the show. Maybe can change in one moment, but I think as coaches we don't have to be too much. We don't have to spend a lot of time to think when to call or what to have to do. I think there are many other situations that happen for all the match and not for only 1 point in the match. And it's only 1 point, or not 5 points. So it's interesting, it's funny for the people, but I think as a coach, honestly, I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking how can I do.
Jordan, you're great friends with Annie and Lauren, and other people on that team. Can you empathize a little bit with what they're going through, how they get out of it?
Yeah, I think, they're in a tough position. I think they've been dealing with some injuries, and that's makes it difficult to, I think, find consistency. And so it's tough because you see so many amazing players on that team and so much talent. And so I just really feel for them because you can't control injuries. And, you know, we know what they're capable of, not only as individuals, but as a team. And so as, like, unfortunate as it is, I'm like, I'm, as an opponent, like, you know, you see it and you're like, okay, well, now we know, like, weak spots and where we can attack. And I just, you know, I feel bad as a person and a friend of theirs, but as an opponent, I don't feel as bad. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's wrong to say.
That's what you're
No.
supposed to do. It's
Yeah.
Given y'all played Omaha preseason, what are y'all taking from those games to implement into the last game?
That's a great question. I think that's another strong team. There's so much talent there, and I think thankfully we know a lot of those players really well. And so I think what we've been working on and building on against every team, and just as, you know, on our own in practice this season and in preseason, working on our block defense, working on just finding a groove and consistency, and continuing to build our grit as a team. I think we've done a really good job of showing up and meeting the difficult moments and the big moments, and I think that's built our confidence as a team. And so I think going into the game against Omaha, that will be our biggest strength.
George, you touched on this a little bit, but one thing that kind of became evident early on in the match was, you know, well, the front row was very, very strong for Madison. The back row was very weak. You talk about this a little bit of injuries, but the dichotomy between the back row strength and front row strength, how did that affect your playing style and your planning going into this matchup?
Yeah, I think before, you know, we were maybe ready for more back row from them, and then just I think how things shook out with injuries on their end. When you lose that piece as an opponent, it's, I think you're not, your eyes as a blocker aren't pulled in so many different directions, and so you're able to really figure out, okay, what in each row, what are their I guess habits, and what are they going to try to do most, and how can we make it more difficult for them to score on those things. And so you know, I think with our coaching staff and working with our middles and knowing, okay, maybe we can take a step here because they're, you know, they don't want to set towards the opposite or whatever. I think that's credit to our coaches and especially our middles too.
What impact are y'all hoping to set on kids who are watching tonight?
Honestly, it was so fun to play already today in front of like so much people, and I hope tomorrow is gonna be even more. And I just hope that we show them like how you can enjoy volleyball and how fun it is to play, and that they can see this live and that they can pursue this in their lives.